Frankie here. Today I am here with Jihad, Cypher State, Mod Squad, previously San Diego, now New York. We're here to talk about experience and knowledge on breaking. We just finished Who Got the Props 2v2. What'd you think of the jam, Jihad?
I loved it. It was a good vibe overall. It was cool. It's my first time in Detroit too, so getting to see the scene, like it's a whole different scene. It's cool. Yeah. The whole jam was actually really nice though, and flew throughout the whole thing. It was nice.
We had people from everywhere tonight. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Vancouver came out. That was awesome.
I was surprised.
Shout out to Straight Kurt. We like Straight Path.
Hell yeah, we do.
Texas came out. New York, Roll Deep, obviously. Philly, of course. So, Jihad, let's just get right into it. Breaking-wise, approach-wise, I've been a fan for so long. I'm trying to think of the first footage I maybe encountered you. I think it was probably when you were still in San Diego, and I think I mostly caught onto your Instagram clips first. You blew up on Instagram.
Yeah, I did during the pandemic. Yeah.
And then I would watch your rounds from the BC1 qualifiers early on. I think you battled Mace early on in one of those qualifiers. And so if I were to kind of explain to an alien what does Jihad break like, one of the things that I'm most drawn to is you're to the point. One move flows into the next, and the way you flow in and out of your power. Let's start from the beginning here. Let's kind of take a step back here. When did you start breaking, and what were your inspirations early on, if you can remember them?
I started breaking in 2012, like officially breaking. My inspirations at that time was my mom because she was a B-girl. And then as I was growing up in the scene, my inspirations were everyone from San Diego. So it'd be like, as my crew, Cypher State, Dino Rock, Pebbles, Doom, Rock So Fresh, Eddie Styles, Sasso, Sumo, Spectre crew. Those are all the local crews out there. And then as I grew into my teen years, it was more the LA scene as well, like all the people from Long Beach, Concord All-Stars, BGSK, stuff like that.
Were you doing anything else before 12 years old, athletically?
Oh, athletically? No. I was dancing, but I wasn't breaking, so I was around the dance scene. I was always going to jams. So I was one of those kids that grew up around jams, but I didn't dance.
And I'm inferring from the beginning of your journey, you had an affinity towards, you wanted to fly, right?
So for me, it was actually funny. I started out with choreography. And in San Diego, the team that I was on, all the kids were breakers that started out with like Dino or Val Pal from Underground Flow and other teachers, right? They all had power moves. And the best way to get a solo, get a power move. So my goal throughout the entire year was try to be at the top of my game in terms of power. So right away, I was trying to get my air flares, my flares, all that stuff, yeah.
Basically what you're describing relative to your scene, it reminded me. Minnesota Joe once said to me, he's like, when you think about yourself as a breaker, you think about yourself not in terms of your local scene, but as a breaker in the overall world, like every single breaker out there. Did you have any inspirations from your scene for that, or you were just, the sky's the limit for you?
Well, in my local scene, I had a lot of inspirations. There was a lot of breakers around my age, mid-20s too, around that time, that were like, I looked up to a lot in terms of just anything like footwork, power, transitions, flow. And then later on, as I got like more accustomed to like breaking outside of the world, then it was your inspirations grow naturally. So then you start viewing other breakers and your mind starts opening up to new individuals. So for us, we have SoCal. So SoCal is like San Diego, Irvine, Riverside, LA, Long Beach. So for us, I would say San Diego at the time that I started had a really high level of power. You had like Uncomfortably Fresh, like Nico, Y-Rock, Randy. And then you had like people in Spectre crew like Jason or One. Actually, speaking of One, the reason I have low air flares is because of One. He was the first people that I ever saw do like really high level UFOs and low air flares, like in front of me. So at a really young age, I was put in that, and I really picked it up a lot quicker because I was around them a lot more.
Anthony, right?
Yeah.
He goes super low.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you remember about breaking in 2012 in terms of what they were doing then versus now, style-wise?
Oh my gosh, I was literally thinking about this the other day. Style-wise was so different because you could even see it in terms of just their outfits alone. Like everyone's clothes were so much different. Like we had skinny jeans, we had different styles still forming within it. Like you still had like the trick era that was in it, parting with the power move era, going with the style era, it was still there. before it breaks out into like what we have now, but like it was still clashing. Each one was clashing. So like the style was completely different, especially San Diego. Like if you look at how they used to break too, was completely different than how like say LA breaks, you know? Like for example, Godoyski from Rock So Fresh, or even Eddie Styles from Rock So Fresh, or Optic, they had a completely different style that you would never see from any other b-boy from LA. Their form, their finesse, how they dress, how they approached the dance was completely different than how you would see from, say, like Concrete All-Stars at the time. Like their style was completely different, you know? So I like the style clashes too, but it was completely different than how it looks now.
This is like pre-Instagram age, basically, where everything becomes homogenous.
Yeah, so everyone had their own unique style. And also too, like crews definitely like looked more aligned rather than like you kind of got this crew that looks like that crew that looks like that crew. Each crew had their own individual style. Like I could tell the difference between Cypher City Kings at the time, Cypher City Kings style versus Instant Noodle style, or Men of Action style versus Rock So Fresh, or Uncomfortably Fresh and BGSK.
Do you visit?
I haven't been back since November, but I keep up with everyone. I would say it's still strong, it's just very selective too, because we don't have as many jams as we used to. Growing up, you could have a jam every weekend. Now, San Diego in particular, you'll have a jam every couple months, or at one point it was like 2 a year. It kind of died down, but the scene's growing. You have like a lot more newer generation, like the Finest City Breakers. They're all like kids, teenagers now. The scene is also still growing in terms of like the current breakers that are out there, still elevating.
This is just from a couple years ago. Breaking for Gold. What do you remember about this particular event?
So this event, I wasn't supposed to compete at all because I got invited to compete under Team Puerto Rico. So I wasn't actually supposed to enter this. And also too, I didn't like the price range. He had us paying a lot of money to compete in this. I doubled down and I was like, all right, whatever. All I need to do is make it XYZ amount far, and then I get to compete in Texas, you know, without having to do extra stuff. So I was going into this with like an open mindset of just try to push maybe some new stuff and then try to like relax in the moment. Yeah, that was my mindset going into it, but it shifts all the time.
This particular event, I was here at this event, and this was like, how do I describe it? And I don't want to critique this particular event, and I'm not bashing on Breaking for Gold, but I remember this particular event, prelims, it was like 40 signups, and it's like people from all over the country. It wasn't even LA folks.
Yeah, it was barely any LA folks.
And in terms of the environment, and you could just feel the energy, like everyone was just there to run their rounds. There was not a lot of talking.
Exactly.
Everyone was warming up,
there was ciphering. I was just about to say, there's always almost no ciphering. Everybody was very serious and focused and like, I need to make top 16, like I have to, like it was very serious, like no relaxing whatsoever.
Did you feel like, I mean, these particular rounds, did they feel high stakes to you, or did you have a pretty level head about it, you feel?
I feel like beforehand, because I get anxiety, so beforehand I'm like really in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like pacing, I'm like washing my hands, rubbing my hands, I'm like they're sweaty. But then in the moment it's a lot better, I feel, but also too trying to focus while also like pushing through like the environment that you're in right now, because like also too you got to think you got like so many people's eyes on you, and like it's quiet, it's tense, like everyone's so focused on just making it this far, you know. So it was definitely different.
One moment at a time, one step at a time.
Exactly. Man, it's clean. Yeah. Yeah. I had to play with his idea of finger fours. Oy.
What do you think?
I thought he took it. I thought it was pretty sweet. I think because I was too in my head, and at the time, I was still learning to use my moves properly. Well, to me personally, because I critique myself more, of course, you're going to critique yourself more. I felt like I had so many like stutters and odd moments within my round that I didn't feel like it was to my liking. But I liked how I was playing more with the concepts that Vic was doing in his round, and then see what I can elevate from his round to my round. Like the finger fours, for example. Like he played with the idea of the chair flare to finger four. So I had to try to elevate finger four to air flare, finger four, yeah.
I want to highlight one of the things you just said about you're learning to use your moves. Like, from your experience from, like I said, early on, we're talking about 2010s is when you started, you're trying to pick up the power. The time between you actually being able to do something like a multiple air flare to getting to a point where you can use the moves, what would you describe that process looks like, and how long did that take?
I will say it didn't take long. What took long was the confidence to use it. So I had power moves early on, like very early, and I had variations very early. I never had the confidence to use it even in my teen years. It took me until like I was maybe 18, 19, going into my 20s, where I actually started using all the power and transitions that I picked up early on. But it was just building up the confidence to use it too, because like I said, anxiety, you don't want to, like when you battle, you're so much in your head that you're like, I don't want to mess up, so I don't want to try things that are possibly going to mess me up, meaning I'm playing it too safe. Rather than now, I don't really feel like I'm playing it too safe. I can get straight to the point with the high level moves that I feel comfortable doing.
It's like a missed opportunity, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I look back on, because I was even watching a battle from a while ago, from 2018 or something, 2019 last week, and I was like, there's so much stuff that I had, because I was also looking at my footage, and I was like, dang, there's so much stuff that I had that I never threw, and I'm just like, why, And then you think about it, but you can't stay in the past, of course, you're in the future. So I'm just like, man, if I took those opportunities where it'd be different, or those battles would be different, or how far you would get in certain competitions would be different. But it's like you said, one step at a time. You just got to keep moving forward with it and just change your mindset as you go.
It's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you just posted something on Instagram maybe a few weeks ago, like 2014 Power, right? Or something like that. Just the level of mastery that really you just don't see. Not a lot of breakers in the States are moving like that. Mm-hmm. We're really not flying like that, like maybe in the early 2000s.
Yeah. It's just building up your confidence to like throw those things that you normally wouldn't see or wouldn't even try in a competition, and just see how it sticks. And then you can evolve from there, change it up, or see if you even want to keep trying it.
So can we back up a second? You said your mom, does she still break?
Not at all. She's a mom of 6. So at that time I was heavily around the breaking scene. So she was friends with like different DJs around that time too, and rap artists and hip hop artists. My dad would take me to those events, because also too, my dad was also really close to a lot of people in the hip hop scene, Cross One, and people that were around Cross One, like a DJ Kid Dragon. So he would be spinning events, and then he would tell my dad, or my mom would know, and then I'd just go to those events. It was back when Jabberwockies blew up too.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta think anything where they could promote Jabba and San Diego as a thing. Those events too, at that time, they had a lot more breakers. Early 2000s, 2010s had more breakers than we do now. Even if they were like not at a high level, there was more around than we have now. So all those events are completely packed out. So no matter what, you have different levels, and people were actually traveling to go to these events.
Right. So 2012, how old were you?
I was 12.
You were 12.
11 turning 12, but yeah.
San Diego to New York. Tell us the story there.
So that's a very dysfunctional story. I got stuck in Europe. I had to win 2 battles in order to get home. Budapest, or near Budapest, I won a battle there. They paid me in cash, so I didn't know how to put that in my account at the time. I won that, then I had to fly to Sweden, and then I won that battle. And from there, I was able to fly to New York. And that's where my crewmates lived. All right, in order for me to get home, I need to rack up more dough. I was living there for about 2 months with one of my crewmates, and all I did was just battle. I battled, and then while I was there battling, I actually got opportunities thanks to Kick Glide and other breakers that I was meeting. Meaning I was teaching at like really prestigious studios. I was teaching famous children. I was performing. I had those opportunities. And then when I came back home, one of my crewmates, he does shows on cruise ships, and he's all like, hey, you want my room? You want to move back to New York? I'm like, sure, why not? You know, I'm not doing anything in San Diego. I was working at a bakery at the time. I was like, it was cool, but I didn't really care about it, and I didn't really do anything. So I was like, you know, it's something different, it's something new. I'll change my life up. I moved to New York, and right away I was getting like job opportunities, music videos. I was working on and off Broadway, doing like plays and gigs and all that stuff.
From the time you were stuck in Europe to the point where you decided, you just mentioned it, to the point where you decided to stay in New York, how long of a time period was that?
It was the end of summer, so I think I got to New York in August. I stayed for about 2 months. Then a month later, my crewmate, or a month and a half later, my crewmate was like, you want to move? And then in that moment, I was like, yes.
And what was it like having to literally break for cash?
You go through a lot of stuff, like emotionally, because you're like, okay, so you're like, all right, I got to make this work. If this doesn't work, what's your plan B right now? What's your plan C? What's your plan D? Normally, I don't think of that stuff, you know? But I'm like, in that moment, when you're stuck like that, you think about your options, and then you really like hustle. You learn to hustle. So you like get to the point, work it out, and try to find a resolution for everything. So like I was able to find my resolutions like that because I work on my feet pretty fast, thank God. The battle in Budapest, I was surprised because I was stuck in, where was I? I was in Belgium. And I was like, I can't get home. You know how far Belgium is from Budapest? It's like all the way over here. I think I took a bus or a train and I went all the way to Vienna. I got I got a hotel in the middle of nowhere of Vienna on accident. Then I had to take a train to Budapest. I did the battle. I contacted a friend, Sapa. I contacted him, I think the day before. And I was like, yo, there's a battle for $2,000 right now. I think you're nearby. I hope. Battle with me. He's all like, okay. He pulls up, we do the battle, we win, it was cool. And then right after, at the after party, that's when I booked my ticket to Sweden. So I booked that ticket, and I also had to pay for a hotel. I was like, all right, let me see what I can do. And then I won that event. And then I actually won that event 2 years in a row. But that event in Sweden opened a lot of doors for me too, with a lot of people in Europe as well. I would say the whole Europe trip was fun. I'm not gonna lie. The whole trip in Europe was fun. Because I went from BC1 Texas to IBE to somewhere else to somewhere else to somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, you have no shortage of stories, Jihad. All right, so let's watch this one here. What do you remember about this battle before we roll it here?
Illy caught me sleeping. No, he was catching me sleeping the whole event. I was asleep on top of a speaker over here, like in the back by the DJ, and I was asleep the whole event. I didn't watch the footwork battle. I didn't watch the rocking battle. I was asleep. I have so much footage of that because people were recording me, and that was my fault. I chose the party the day before, but in the moment, I was honestly just hyped to be there, and the fact that I'm in the moment I woke up even more because I got to battle Take Notice, and I really look up to Nori. So battling people that inspire you really wakes you up and brings out a different side of you. So as soon as I was waking up, I was like, oh yeah, we're battling Take Notice. Let's go. All right, cool. Let me get prepared. Let me go here.
So we'll see what a half asleep Jihad breaks like. Yeah.
I knew this song really well. That's why.
Any observations or takeaways from watching breakers and battling breakers in Japan?
They move very fast. I'll say, like they have a good technique, and I do like a lot of their form. They move very fast. I think sometimes a little too fast for their own good, because, like say for example, if they got a track like this, they can't dance to it, or they can't move to it the same way that we would, but also too because we know the lyrics half the time. They move so fast that they can't break to it, but they have so much stuff that hits like certain instruments or certain beats, and it's so like precise. It's amazing, honestly.
Japan is such a powerhouse, obviously, in breaking in this age. And so did you have any, I guess, a general question, any insights in terms of why? Maybe it's culturally, how did they get to this point?
They train hard. They train hard. No, I was also staying there for a month last year, or 2 months in Japan. And so I was living with a family out there, and I would see their day to day, right? The kids, and they would have like practices every single day. They have sessions every single day. And they even have like, for Powerhouse too, right? They have classes where it's like 2 or 3 hours of just straight power moves, like a power move class. Where do you see that in the States? Nowhere, right? Like they like dedicate their lives to it. Like there's sessions every day in different spots. They have amazing mentors, like all their OGs are like really high level b-boys that are very well known, and they train them hard. They don't baby them. Like they train them to be champions, not like where it's here, where it's like, oh, you got your 6-step, nice, that was a good job, I'm proud of you. Like, no, those kids will be like working hard the whole time, and like even 3 hours of just power, just imagine that. Like I couldn't physically do that, that's insane. But they're doing that, and they're training like hard as fuck for everything.
Collectively, as a culture, they're behind working hard, yeah, in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, here I was like, let me just get straight to the point as best as possible.
What do you think?
I actually really like that round because it was just straight to the point. It's how I would personally do that round too. Like the music-wise, it hit certain beats and the freeze. And I honestly, for me, it's just the ending freeze that always matters. And yeah, I like the angles and the freezes I did, but my top rocks could get better. But I honestly, I wanted to get straight to the point because I felt like the energy was shifting towards us, and the best way to keep that going is overall pick the energy up in your favor as well. So as soon as it shifted from Nori's round to make sure it stays in our favor, fast pace, pick the energy up, and straight to the point. I learned that too from like b-boys in Europe, like in the early 2000s, like they would straight to the point, or like right away. As soon as they would keep it kind of like cypher style, or even ciphers in the US, but like from what I would used to watch, like they would go fast paced right away. So as soon as say someone just ended their round, they're already out. It's an exchange, it's right away. You don't take your time to wait for the music to go. You don't, let me stay in place and wait for the, no, just go straight out, get to the point, straight to the point, out. That way they have to respond right away with what they saw. And if they didn't see anything, then what are they gonna respond with?
And don't give them time to think.
Yeah, you can't give them time to think. Because if they see your movements, they have time to think of what do I have similar to that I can respond with and incorporate in my round. You don't want them to think about what they're doing to incorporate. You want them to go right away. The moment they go right away, now it's just round against round rather than round against conversation.
Skillz Talk 2023. I know we're pulling a lot of 2023 clips, but you just had such a phenomenal
I will
year.
say 2023 was my favorite year. I was doing so much. This was like in January, if I'm not mistaken, because there was three days of events. There was Alchemy Studio. They had an event. The next day, yeah. Then the next day was Skillz Talk. Then the next day was Full Force Anniversary, and they had a 7 to Smoke and a footwork battle. So it's a busy weekend. It's crazy. So this, they're not gonna like that I'm gonna say this. My crew bailed on me the same week. Okay, after talking with them for like weeks on weeks, like we're going to this event. You guys ready? We all booked our flights. Da da da. They bailed, and I didn't know till the week of. And I was like, well, okay, wow. And then so at this time, I knew Kamius pretty well because we followed each other on socials and then we've seen each other around. I knew Ali pretty well and I knew the twins. So we kind of got lucky at Alchemy where we were all just talking. We were like, you battling tomorrow? I'm not battling tomorrow. You want to battle tomorrow? Yeah, we can. You want to get these people down to battle with us? Yeah? All right, what would we call us? And then they're like, we can just call us Kazakhstan and USA. And we're like, all right, bet, let's do it. And like thinking back on it, it was like a really good team up. It was probably one of my favorites like ever. One of the first times I got braids, I was rocking this same outfit. This was the first time I had this outfit and then I wore it all year, like the exact same outfit. I have the sweat somewhere. I got to retire those. My form was so much better.
What do you think?
I like the flow of it. I still use these moves, but in like different ways now. But at the time, this was actually like a new round to me. So I've never actually put any of this stuff together yet. And I came up with this round like, I think 5 minutes before this. I was just thinking in the back, I was like, what would have the most impact and what would like my approach to say this battle against Monster Energy be? Because I know Nails and Links, they're very fluid. So I was like, if I have to compete against them, what could I do that I have in my head at the time that I can complement and like change the approach with in terms of power moves, but also the fluidity that I'm trying to create in my round. And I liked how it turned out. It was actually cool.
I want to ask you, going back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of you've mastered movement and taking that and being able to apply it to a battle, I kind of want to go back to this conversation. So what do your practices look like to get to that point? Now we're talking about the actual like day-to-day training. So for example, people like Rob, Style Invaders, I mean, they have their own just kind of system. And Box One talks about this too. Basically, you're just you're trying to take whatever new move you have and throw it into a cipher. Is basically the overall approach. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, that's how you should practice it. So Reveal's my mentor, and he would say the same thing. You know, if you want to get better at utilizing your stuff, you need to either battle every session or you need to do your rounds like you're in a cipher. Go all out. You can't baby your moves. You gotta use it. So in order to really know it and create with it, you gotta one cipher in order to create, but then also two, continuously use it and not baby the movement of it.
And in terms of linking stuff, so now we're talking about composition, how you link one move to the other. Do you have a system that you basically developed at this point? I've heard this too. I mean, speaking from a different inspiration too, a lot of Canadians like to do this. They will they'll group their moves and basically have a system in terms of how you can rearrange them. Do you do this at all?
I started doing that actually. So even during the pandemic, I was trying to create a lot, and I was creating, but I didn't know how to use it. So I just had a bunch of what I would say combos, and I was like, none of this stuff goes together, like at all, like none of it. And I was like, how do you use this? And then my crewmates would get mad because I just had an infinite amount of moves, but I don't know how to use it and I don't use it. So at some point I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit through, I'm gonna just choose random stuff. So I have like a folder in my phone called ideas. I'll just scroll, pick a video, all right, cool. Scroll, pick another one, and I'm like, all right, you gotta make a dope round just using that and find a connection within each one. Like your goal is to find the connection or create a connection that flows between each movement. Yeah.
Just do it, basically.
Yeah, honestly, that's the only way. You gotta just do it. And like I said, like the only way that you're gonna be able to do it is you're either ciphering or you're battling. You're getting more comfortable using it. And the more you use it, the more ideas you get on that just one move, right? So your moves automatically are gonna change over time too. You can have one move that you created like 3 years ago, and it'll look completely different than it does now. And that's because it's evolving. So the fastest way to evolve your moves or figure out a connection is you have to battle or practice with it all the time.
I'm posing this question in terms of, how do you package it all together? It really is, as cheesy as it sounds, you learn by doing, really.
Yeah, you just learn by doing it over and over again and just see what works, what doesn't, and like what actually looks good too, because you never know. It could look good to you, but it could look bad to others. Or it could look good in the moment, but if switch a song, it could look horrible. You never know.
Here's a question for you, for someone who obviously has an affinity, like I said, for the more technical side of breaking, really showing off the form of each move is the impression I get from you. Do you feel like you've learned all the moves that you want to learn before you get to use them?
No, there's so many other moves that I want to move. Like they say, always a student. So there's like so many combos and individual moves that I want to learn, and I'm still trying them on the low, but I'm still trying, and I'm still trying to pick my body up to like do certain combos or even flows, certain flows and certain ideas. It's like you just gotta just try it over and over again.
Because why would you ever be satisfied?
Exactly. You can never be satisfied. Once you get satisfied, then it's gonna go downhill from there.
Absolutely. Jihad, we're pretty much wrapped up here, and I feel like the overall theme of this last dialogue we've been having is really focusing on your own personal journey, and while you can have inspirations, you have to make the pieces fit for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Tell us kind of just what can we look forward to in the future in terms of where your breaking journey goes, battle-wise or maybe approach-wise to the dance. How do you want to keep evolving?
Oh, I would love to keep evolving. That's always your goal, is forever evolve with it, but also like overcome those levels and just get higher and higher and higher. I just want to feel a little more complete, less nerves and more confidence within myself as I move. That's always like everybody's problem. We can act like we have the most confidence in the world, but it's how we portray it. So being more confidence within myself, and like I want everything to link together too. So confidence, elevation, linking together, fluidity, all that stuff.
So more complete in that aspect.
Yeah.
See, I actually, not to sidetrack, but I actually don't like asking breakers if they have goals. I think it's a pretty open question, and also it's like breakers are so, I feel like the real G's, they're just so immersed in what they're physically doing. They don't think in terms of results in that way.
Yeah.
Right now, are you just full-time breaker? Are you pursuing any other professional pursuits?
No. Full-time breaker right now. Yeah, but I'm lucky that I have the opportunity to do that. Not a lot of people get to, and so yeah, I break full time.
Performing?
Performing, I'm a part of a couple like dance teams per se, and I still do on and off Broadway jobs and music videos and stuff like that. So I have the opportunity to continue doing what I love, but like at my own pace.
Well, I have to give you so much respect for doing the true full-time breaker. Yeah.
It's fun. A little bit sometimes.
For you to dedicate yourself to really just a purpose more than just yourself, than just a paycheck, right? It's just phenomenal, and I think it really does show in your breaking, Jihad.
Thank you, bro.
You've been such an inspiration for so long for me personally, and I just wish you nothing but the best in the future. Stay healthy and continue to grow and evolve within your style. So
thank you. I appreciate that, bro.
Thank you again, Jihad. Safe travels back home to New York.
Yeah. Let's
Thanks,
go.
Jihad. We're out of here. Peace.